Namaste, Jai Bharat. Bangladesh situation is not very clear to the world, and predictions are not quite possible. But most likely, this Younus guy wanted to remain in Bangladesh and do something, and perhaps that could be a lie, because this man is fundamentally very cunning. That's very obvious from not just from his looks alone, but also from the kind of things that we have seen he had been doing. First of all, he had not got Nobel Prize as it is given in propaganda for economics. He was given a Nobel Prize for peace. And what peace he had made into pieces remains to be understood, whatever. And during his regime of advisorship in Bangladesh, the entire nation was collapsing economically. People suffering, of course, which no one bothers in any countries. In America and in Pakistan or Bangladesh, there's many such places. There are only very few nations who really are committed to the welfare of the people. That's not very common. Don't tell me Chinese people are welfare oriented. Many said others. Taking names is not really good. But certainly not Pakistan and certainly not Bangladesh. And I would also say certainly not the US, because otherwise they would not want to do this tariff, because ultimately the money has to be paid by the citizens of the US or whoever is living there. Now the thing that Bangladesh, see, this man Younus has his own companies and he is very rich, not through or by Nobel Prize or not by teaching economics or doing such things in economics, but yes, companies. And when every uh, enterprise in Bangladesh was economically shrinking and shattering, whatever was under the, I mean, whatever was uh, shared by Younus, or he whatever was in the hands of Younus, both directly and indirectly, were flourishing. They kept making profits. No, don't ask me how it is done. I was not sure, but then they were making profits. So this man wanted to stay back in Bangladesh with the very serious hope on the one point to become something else. And another thing is that there is all possibility, given his cunning, that he would say that he would stay in Bangladesh, but then he knows very well that if he says he would leave Bangladesh, then of course we would not let him leave Bangladesh and not even let him live LAV. That's quite possible. So perhaps he understands it much better than anybody else, because he is of the same breed and thought system. What really happened is recently, many things are coming out, especially their president, whose name is Muhammad Shahabuddin, had given an interview. All this he had been silent, and in an interview he kept talking. He says that many times he tried to talk to uh, this Munir, that things happening in Bangladesh are not really good. There are atrocities on minorities, etc., etc., etc. And he says, these things are. Younus says, these things are quite common. Don't bother about it. Actually, Shahabuddin is the president of Bangladesh, and Younus is not even the prime minister. He is supposed to be an advisor. Sensibly, if you look at it, he should have been advising the president. And caretaker government he has to be heading with, the normal ministers and stories, where he put all the students, the Gen Z people, whom he expected to understand, take his orders or move according to his wishes. And he was supposed to otherwise, officially he's supposed to report as the president of the nation, who is supposed to be real authority in the absence of the prime minister, because prime minister is elected, etc. We know the story of democracy. So, but in the talk he gave to a journal or some kind of publication, newspaper, so I don't know. It's called Kalle Kanto. Kalle Kant. It should mean the chapter of art. Literally, it should mean that. I don't know what is implied. And there he says that there were attempts to kill him, but he, no, Younus is using the Gen Z youngsters who would do anything, who had who were real instrumental to in try attempting to kill Khalida Zia, Sheikh Hasina, sorry, again these names are mystic, confused. Sheikh Hasina, and she really had to escape, and she was escaped with the kind of things one knows actually. See, in the same pattern, Younus also wanted to eliminate the president Shahabuddin. Shahabuddin. The people marched to Bangla Bhavan, the president's house. But Shahabuddin spoke to the army, and the army stood formidably by him. Because the army knows, and they even said that when you are not safe, we are also not safe. Then the army shall not be army, it will be these Jamaat Islamis and Younuses and this Gen Z's kind of anarchy. And Younus is not bothered what might happen to Bangladesh, and this is obvious even in Pakistan. Those who are ruling, they are not bothered of the people, they are not bothered of the land, they just are not, they don't belong. They don't belong to anything except their own interest. That's the case with Pakistan leaders and Bangladesh leaders. Well, you may apply it even others wherever it is applicable. So his talk was revealing. There were attempts to kill him, and he is still alive because of the Bangladesh defense, army, navy, air force, all the three. Because these people realized that when president is destroyed, then they are also destroyed. That is one thing which continued. So Younus is not going to say that he is going to leave Bangladesh, but he is going to run away incognito. That's what I think. So, and you see that what will happen to Bangladesh is further chaos, and anyone with a good intention, whether the present prime minister or not, with a honesty or good intention, was trying to do anything to this nation, will have to struggle. And they have to begin from square one in one sentence. Let's hope that Bangladesh turns back to democracy, and the Jamaat Islami loses grip in time, because they are radicals and dangerous and who don't consider others who don't belong to their gang, not just others other than Muslims, not just all non-Muslims. It is others who do not belong to their own group as humans, and even they treat those are Muslims, but those who don't belong to their group as kafirs. They will do anything, and ultimately, these people are also doing nothing for their religion and their so-called Jannah for money, authority, power, and a debauchery-filled life. We shall meet again. Namaste. Jai Bharat, Jai Sri Ram.